Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Fatan Karim, and in this video I want to make some tutorial videos. It's based on the networking lesson, that is how to access RouterOS in Mikrotik RouterOS. This is basically if you want to to access your routers, or maybe you want to configure your routers, that you might need to have step by step to connecting, or maybe you have to log in something, what's a platform you need. That is how we want to make a video access RouterOS. Okay, so the explanation first. What is RouterOS? So RouterOS is like operating systems. It was implemented in the Mikrotik hardwares based on it's for the router something, and it runs on the Linux kernel, and it's like Unix based operating system and many more. And RouterOS, it has the many features that is implementation for networking. So like for examples, uh, it can be used like for adding some IP address exactly, and it can be used for like a routing, a wireless, hotspot, and many more for the features on the RouterOS. Okay, so that's its quick explanation, and let's directly go to the tutorial on how to access RouterOS. And basically, that you need to access, you need to have the keyboard to typing, and you need to have something mouse or maybe trackpad, usually yeah, for moving the cursor into the navigation, and that's about all. Okay, now to access Mikrotik, so that we need is have the Mikrotik hardware, for example. So in this topology, that we need have a LAN cable that to connecting router into the computers, and this, for example, we're connecting to the Ethernet here. Okay, so I want to show you some example. So okay, wait. Okay, so this is was the router. As you can see in the front here, there is the powers, and there's a Ethernet. There's a 5 Ethernet, and this is if you want to connect, that you need to have a plug in this Ethernet into your computer. Okay, so example, I want to connect the router to the a laptop, so I need to plug it to the Ethernet 2 here. Okay, and we plug it the other ones to the laptop, and to make sure it's connected. Wait. To make sure it's connected, and make sure that you can see in like here it's lit. So I connect in the Ether 2, and it's lit on the Ether 2 right now. Okay, so it's bugging. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now we're gonna next. So the first way to access RouterOS, we're gonna use a Winbox. So the Winbox is the most easiest ways platform, the most easiest platform to configuring or accessing Mikrotik RouterOS. And this is basically on the graphical user interface, so that's why the people might easier to navigate. Okay, so Winbox is a application. So if you don't have application, you can download this software from the Mikrotik official software. So if you don't have, you can a new tab, and you might type mikrotik.com/download, and this is if you go to this site, this is a place to download. Yeah. Okay, so you can see here, this is was the site if you want to download the software like Winbox, or you can download the RouterOS for your Mikrotik, your router board, or many more. Okay, because I have Winbox, so I don't need to download again, so let's just directly open. Okay, so now let's try the first platform. Yeah, it's Winbox. Okay, wait. Okay, so now you can see here, this is was the first screen when you open Winbox. As you can see, before you connecting, you may know your IP address, or you may know the MAC address and login and password to connect your router here. And with first one, we showed this. If you don't know your MAC address, you can go to Discover here, and you click the MAC address in your router. For example, my router has the identify name, this one, because I already used before, so there's a name, right? Okay, so now you can directly click MAC address or IP address to connect to RouterOS, and you can see here it's already automatically filled this parameter. And the second one, a login and password. If you already reset or you have a new router, the default user is admin and the password is blanks. Okay, so now we're gonna connect. If you already fill this parameter. Okay, now we're gonna enter. As you can see, we are successfully enter the Winbox, or I mean enter the router S, yeah, to configure router here. Okay, so make sure you have the stable connection, yeah, or stable router. If you unstable, will be disconnect as well. Okay, so now let's introduce the interface of the Winbox. There's an interface at the Winbox. So the first, in the window name, in the corner here, there's a window name like admin, MAC address, and identity name, and many more. Okay, so the first that is admin. So the admin is the name that the user that will log in, and the second here that is MAC address or IP address that we use for logging into the RouterOS, and the third is the Mikrotik. This is was the name with this one that is was the identifying name that we set on the router, and the fourth that is the version the RouterOS that we install on the router, and the last is the hardware type that we use for connecting. And for example, because I use hex light router, so you can see in here it's running on the hex light with the executator bits P. And if you want to see the full information or extend information for this hardware, you can go to the system and you can go to the research. So if you want to see here, this is what's the extend information. Okay, so after we know the interfaces, now we're gonna try to first try to use this one. For example, I want to change this identifier name in router because this is name is identifier name, yeah. As the identifier name, it will be shown in the when we open the new Winbox window. You can see identifier name in here. That is a set on the router. So you want to change the identifier name. Let's follow the steps. You can go to the system and go to the identity here. So this was the ways to change your identity on your router. For example, I want to change to the 10 TKG, TKG, and if you want to proceed, click apply. And when you click apply, and identify name has been successfully changed on your router. And if you change this one, it will be show again when you open the new Winbox again. For example, like this. This is a bit change, yeah. Okay, for the second, we want to this user to be as password. So you can add password in the system and go to the password. Okay, so this is was the password. So if you have old password, you may need to fill your old password. For example, I have this password, and you might fill your new password and confirm the new password that you filled before. Okay, now we're gonna next try this adding some IP address in your router. So as you can see, uh, sorry. So every routers is needs like IP address for using like a service or and many more that is needs an IP address. So if you want to add an IP address, you can go to the IP and go to the addresses. So this is way to add your IP address in your interfaces. Now if you want to add the interface, you can click by this plus button here. And now you might need to fill the IP address and you may need to set the interface. For example, I want to add IP address to the Ethernet 5. So we choose the Ethernet 5 and we set IP address. For example, I want to set to 192.168.19.1, and we don't forget to use prefix, for example 24, and click apply. So you can see here we successfully add an IP. So if you can see this text is italic, that means the interface is inactive or not plugged in. And when the text this one, for example, this Ethernet 2 is not italic text. That means the interface is running. Okay, so if you want to delete your IP address, if for example you not use the IP, you can select this one and click the minus button in here. Or you can also disable by clicking X, or want to enable again this option, you can click this check buttons. Okay, so that's about how to access in Winbox. So now we get next how to access RouterOS, and the second way to access RouterOS is using webfig, and it started since RouterOS version 5, and the function it's same like a Winbox, but the difference we're running on the web in the browser, and this is still support IP version 4 and IP version 6, support HTTP and HTTPS. And the alternative is if you don't have Winbox or if you don't want to install Winbox, you can use via webfig if you already have an IP address. Okay, so now we're gonna try go to the second way to access RouterOS, that using webfig. You can to open the new tab in your browser, and now click your IP that's connected. For example, I use 192.168.88.1. This is IP when the IP on your interface that you connected there. Okay, now we successfully open this webfig, and now we need to log in as where we set. Okay, click login. Okay, now this one. As you can see, we successfully connected RouterOS via webfig on your browser. And the difference is, if you open the other menus, something, for example, in Winbox, you can to open more than one window. For example, I want to open interface list, you can to open this, and you can to open an like firewall settings like this. So it can be open more than one window. And when in the webfig, you can only open only one window. So example, I want to open the addresses list, and the previously in the interfaces list will be closed because it only support only one window in here. And the functional, it's still same like Winbox. So this is means it's the functional is still same. So I don't want to explain again. Okay, so that's about how to access via webfig. We go to next again. Okay, so the lastly that is access to RouterOS via command line interface, which is it can be used from the SSH, telnet, console, or you can use new terminal in Winbox or in webfig. So if you don't want to use a CLI service like CCH, telnet, or maybe like console jack, you can use new terminal on your Winbox by directly go to the menus and click new terminal. So this is the interface of the terminal like this. And the name of the CLI or command line interface, this is with only the text and the background, which is this doesn't have many user interfaces. And usually this CLI service it using when the routers is only have the limited bandwidth and cannot be have the extended bandwidth. Okay, so let me give example how to use the CLI. So let me close up first the Winbox. So if you want to access via CLI in the SSH, you can use service. For example, we can use a software like PuTTY. So this was the application to access the CLI. For example, I want to access the CLI via SSH. You can to click this one and click an IP address. For example, my IP address 192.168.82.81 and click the enter. And we're gonna log in as the users, for example admin, and the type password. And when you type password in the CLI, it cannot be shown for the privacy. So like if you typing the password, it will not show in here. Okay, and click enter. And as you can see, we successfully connected to our router. Okay, so in the CLI, I want to explain to you the basic command that usually used for the router, but it's not much. Maybe like 3 or 2 examples. Okay, for example, we want to show the resource of the router. So we can to call the command. For example, like this, we can call command system and call research. And if you want to see the list, you can to call the command print. Okay, so as you can see here, this was the example if you want to see the resource of your router. I want to show you again the second example. We want to change the identity name in your router, so you can command system again, system identity, and we call the name set name. Okay, now we call again the equals, and after the equals you can to fill your name. For example, I want to change again to the my name 10 TKJ for example. And when we click enter, as you can see, the identity name successfully changed. Okay, that's for example. Okay, now the third example for the CLI commands, that is adding an IP address. So we can call the command the menu IP addresses, and if you want to add IP address, you can to add the command add. Okay, like this. Okay, so now we're gonna try to fill the IP address. So you can call the command address, and we fill the IP that we want to enter. For example, we want to set 182 168 68 99.1, yeah, for example. We don't forget to add the prefix 24, and we add this IP. For example, we want to add this IP on the Ethernet 4. So now we use the interface command ether 4. Okay, if you want to use the command, for example, yeah, if you want to quickly type the words, for example, I want to type the word interface. So this will be typing a long time. So if you want to fill the word, you can to call the keyword. For example, I want to add interface word. You can to call the keyword like INT and click tab on your keyboard. So this is will make quicker. Okay, tab forward. Okay, so now as you can see, it's successfully at IP. So if you want to delete your IP, you can to use like, you need to show your IP first. So if you want to example, you want to show your IP that it has been added, you can to call IP address and call the command print. So this is how to show your IP address. And if you want to delete an IP address, you can to call IP address remove, and remove the numbers that has been listed here. For example, I want to remove this interface 4 with IP 99.1, and this is list on the 1, so we delete, so they pick number 1, and we click enter and we print again. As you can see, it's successfully deleted. Okay, so that's all for me. That's how to access RouterOS and how to use RouterOS for the basically. And that's all for me, and thank you guys for watching my video, and sorry when I have mistake. And the last say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.